Hello ladies and gentlemen, and movie lovers of all kind, and welcome back to the channel. As always, I am your host, Brett Murphy, and for today's video, I have another brand new top 10 for you all, and I am going to be counting down the top 10 movies of 2023 that might suck. So 2023 is looking to be one of the biggest and most memorable year for movies in recent memory. But as we've all come to know, when it comes to the movie industry, for every big success comes a massive dud. So for today's video, I am going to be going over the movies that I feel look promising but could end up being supremely disappointing. Before I hop into the actual top 10 itself, I just wanted to let you all know that I have an entire playlist dedicated to all of my top 10 videos. There are already plenty on there, so if top 10s are your thing, then be sure to check that out, and I guarantee you'll find something you like. And so without further ado, let's hop right into things. And of course, in typical fashion for me, I'm going to have some honorable mentions. And those honorable mentions are 65, Renfield, Meg 2, The Trench, The Equalizer 3, and Chicken Run 2. And now, number 10, Saw 10 or Saw X. I really don't feel this one requires much explanation. This is the 10th movie in this franchise, so at this point you're either a fan or you're not. If you decide to see it, you automatically know what you're getting into. They are absolutely not going to reinvent the wheel now. So it's either you're on board or you're not. And as always with these ridiculously long-running franchises, this could be one that actually kind of reinvigorates the fans' passion a little bit, or it could end up souring the franchise for good. Number 9, The Nun 2. I'm not gonna sugarcoat this one whatsoever. The first Nun movie kind of sucks. It's one of my least favorite of the Conjuring universe. However, I do have a small sliver of hope for this one, and that's because sometimes we actually get horror movie sequels that are vastly superior to their originals. The two key examples that come to mind are the first Annabelle, which was god-awful, but then Annabelle Creation is actually my second favorite of the Conjuring universe, and another prime example is the first Ouija movie is completely and utterly forgettable, but the second one, Ouija Origin of Evil, is actually pretty damn good. So that could very well be the case with The Nun 2. Maybe they've learned their lesson, maybe they'll make up for their mistakes and deliver a superior sequel, but I have my doubts. Number 8, Kraven the Hunter. Sony has a very mixed, to possibly poor, depending on who you ask, track record when it comes to these Spider-Man villain movies. I personally enjoy both Venom movies. I think they are fine, fun, easy to watch, turn your brain off, kick your feet up kind of action superhero movies. Morbius was my least favorite movie of 2022, so yep, it doesn't really get much more mixed than that. And we know virtually nothing about this Kraven movie just yet. We do know that we have a very capable director in the chair with J.C. Candor, who directed movies like Triple Frontier and A Most Violent Year, and we know that Aaron Taylor Johnson is our star. This has the potential to, at the very least, end up being a solid action flick, but I'm keeping my expectations very much so in check for this one. Number 7, The Expendables 4. Being the follow-up to The Expendables 3, I can see exactly why there isn't much chatter about this one, and most people don't even have this movie on their radar. However, I do truthfully feel that this could be a return to form for the franchise. I am a massive fan of the first two Expendables movies. I have a hell of a time every time I throw those on. I don't think The Expendables 3 is as bad as people are saying it is. Yes, the lack of the R rating was a huge blow to the franchise, and yes, the fact that the movie leaked online early also really affected its box office numbers. But over the years, Sylvester Stallone has continuously claimed that they have learned from their mistakes and there will never ever be another PG-13 Expendables movie. They will be R-rated from now on, and they're going to make up for the lack of everything in The Expendables 3, and really just the disappointment that The Expendables 3 was in general. Some of the new cast members include the likes of 50 Cent and Megan Fox, which doesn't really make me overly excited either, but there are some other new additions like Iko Uwais from the Raid movies that does actually get me a little more hyped. Number 6, Insidious 5, aka Insidious Fear the Dark. The Insidious movies are very hit or miss depending on who you ask. Some people are major fans of the franchise, some people hate all of them, and some people are like me where I enjoy them, but they're definitely not the best movies on the market. However, what does very much so intrigue me about this one is that it will see the original cast returning, and star Patrick Wilson will be making his directorial debut. But that's where this one is very much so up in the air. I mean, directorial debuts sometimes work out really well, and sometimes some actors just aren't meant to be directors. So I guess we'll find out during our next trip to the further. Number 5. Dungeons & Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. Truth be told, I have never played Dungeons & Dragons. I have never had any interest in playing Dungeons & Dragons. However, I don't think any less of people that do. A lot of people love Dungeons & Dragons, okay? It's easily one of the most popular games, pastimes, hobbies, whatever you want to call it, in the world of all time, and that's totally cool by me. It's just not my thing, and when I watch the trailers for this movie, I feel absolutely nothing except for just the fact that I'm completely uninterested, and the movie doesn't really look all that good in my opinion. But the studio does seem fairly confident in it. They've already said that if the movie is a box office success, it will see a sequel, and they've already greenlit a live action series for streaming too. I mean, who knows? This movie could be a huge surprise and end up being the next big medieval movie franchise. Or it could absolutely suck, kind of like I expect it to. Are you looking for the perfect gift for the movie lover in your life, or maybe you just want to treat yourself? Then look no further than the most unique piece of movie art you could possibly have with MoviePalette. Visit moviepalette.com right now and use code BAM15 at the checkout for 15% off your order. And now, back to the video. Number 4. The Exorcist Remake. I've been talking about this one a lot lately, and that's because I want it to be good so damn badly. The original Exorcist is one of the most popular, beloved, scariest horror movies of all time. It is iconic, it is a staple not only of the horror genre, but of the movie industry as a whole. So remaking it is a very delicate, touchy topic. It's a subject that's really gonna push some pressure points for longtime fans. And I'm very in the middle on this one because it is coming from director David Gordon Green, who just did the most recent Halloween trilogy. Now, the reason why I think this could end up being really good is because Halloween 2018 is really good in my opinion. It is my second favorite of the Halloween franchise, and one of my favorite horror movies of the last decade or so. I really enjoy that movie. However, Kills was a massive disappointment, and Ends was somehow an even bigger disappointment, and one of my least favorite movies of 2022. So this one could really end up going either way. Number 3. Fast X. Oh boy, here we go again. I have been saying it since, 2015, 14, whenever Furious 7 came out. I have been saying since then that that was the perfect cutoff point for the franchise. It had a perfect ending. Really, it was a flawless, well-crafted, beautiful, touching conclusion to the franchise. They should have and could have stopped right then and there, but they kept going. The 8th one was just okay. Hobbs and Shaw was mediocre at best, and then F9, the Fast Saga, was atrocious. By far my least favorite of the entire Fast franchise. I thought that movie was unfunny, ridiculous, absurd, and just plain stupid in all the wrong ways. And it seems things have only gotten worse because director Justin Lin actually left the project in the middle of filming because of on-set altercations with Vin Diesel and creative differences with the producers, but I really think it's all kind of just on Vin Diesel. So they brought in director Louis Leterrier to take on the helm and finish production, but I am a longtime fan and defender of this franchise, at least I was until F9. I am hoping that they somehow learned their lesson after F9 and seeing just how negatively it was received, but you know, if history tells us anything, this movie's just gonna go even bigger and more ridiculous and over the top than the previous one. Number 2, the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Yes, just like everyone else, I am absolutely not convinced that Chris Pratt was the right choice for Mario whatsoever. We have multiple trailers now, and his Mario voice just isn't doing it for me. Everyone else does seem fairly well casted if you ask me, and the movie does look like a lot of fun. But we all know about the video game adaptation curse that it seems like only a very select few have been able to surpass in some capacity or another. So I think this movie has great potential to actually break through that curse as well and deliver a fun, exciting, and above all else, faithful adventure. But there's no denying that that curse is very, very strong and has affected so many projects, and this one could also definitely suck and fall victim to that curse. Number 1. Knock at the Cabin. I can't be the only one that thinks these trailers have absolutely delivered up to this point and that this movie actually looks kind of phenomenal. The base plot and overall idea for this story has me incredibly intrigued, and then you have some pretty heavy hitters on the cast like Jonathan Groff, Dave Bautista, and Rupert Grint, just to name a few. If the movie turns out to be anything like the trailers, then I think we're in for a real treat, but where my issue comes is with director M. Night Shyamalan. Why? Because this guy has gifted us some of the best movies of all time, like The Sixth Sense, Signs, and I even think Split is a very, very solid movie as well. But on the flip side to that, he's also given us some of the worst movies of all time, like The Happening or the Avatar: The Last Airbender movie. Everyone has come to know and expect the M. Night Shyamalan twists to always come into play at the end of the movie, and those twists very much so make or break the movie. And I don't know if that's just what M. Night does and that's what he enjoys, or he just feels the pressure to deliver on those because that's what the audience has come to expect, and it's become synonymous with his style. No matter what, M. Night always delivers intriguing plots. Old comes to mind as a prime example, but he often can flub on the execution, once again referring to Old. It does look promising, I must admit, and I am personally very excited, but as always when it comes to M. Night's movies, you're really not going to know what you're getting until you sit down in the theater. So that is all for today's video, folks. Be sure to let me know down in the comments if you agree or disagree with my top 10 picks. While you're at it, be sure to let me know down in the comments below what your top 10 picks would be for the 2023 movies that might suck. If you're a movie lover whatsoever, then my channel is the place to be for you. Be it top 10s like this one, ranking videos, tier videos, versus videos, I have all of that and so much more with 650 plus videos already on the channel for you to enjoy and many more on the way. So if you enjoyed this particular video, then be sure to hit that thumbs up button. And if any of that sounds like it's right for you and you want to see more from me, then smash that subscribe button right now. While you're at it, don't forget to ring that little bell icon. That way you can be notified about all of my latest uploads. And as always, stay safe. Thank you so much for watching. And that's a wrap. Hey you, yeah you, if you made it this far, just know I appreciate you, and while you're here, consider hitting that subscribe button.